caller. What's up? Who's this, Nino?
You didn't even know what's happening, man.
What's popping, man? What's your thoughts?
Hey, I'm agreeing with most of what you're saying on the part of the Jokic situation.
Yeah.
He got he. I don't think he got enough help this year, but based on how he said it, I ain't never heard y'all get bro in that pass, so I really can't give it to him either.
You
He
can't.
doing everything he can, but
Nah, but listen though,
I,
Nino.
he needs more.
It's even crazier to say he don't have no help. These the same dudes he won it with.
I know. That's what
You know what I'm saying?
I know, but
Like Jamal Murray
yeah,
was his Jamal Murray was his co-star when they won it, right?
right.
Aaron Gordon was the third option or the third best player. Michael Porter Jr. was the fourth
And
best player. Or you can flip it.
right.
Maybe Michael Porter Jr. was the third scoring option and Aaron Gordon was the fourth scoring option. You got your same four guys. Now, if you go to any other superstar, let's use Michael Jordan as an example. Michael Jordan's co-star was Scottie Pippen, right?
Right.
And his third option during the first three-peat was Horace Grant. His third option during the second three-peat was Tony Kukoc, right? But he was coming off the bench, right? Rodman wasn't a third option. He wasn't a scoring option at all. So you mean to tell me that Michael Jordan, all he needed was Pippen, and he didn't care what role players you mixed in there. It could have been Bill Whittington, it could have been Luke Longley, it could have been Bill Cartwright, it could have been Horace, it could have been Kukoc, it could have been Rodman, it could have been Harper, it could have been Paxson, it could have been BJ, it could have been Kerr, it could have been Judd Butler, it could have been Caffey, it could have been Bison Daly. All these role players got mixed around with the Bulls. The only two people they needed to keep was Jordan and Pippen. So Michael Jordan was like, as long as
Right.
I got my number two, I'm good. Where Jokic got his number 2, 3, and 4. And you mean to tell me because he lost Bruce Brown and Caldwell Pope, he can't compete no more?
Look, it sounds crazy once you break it down like that. Now I ain't gonna hold you, but I never thought he was. I think you can consider him a great player for his time, but when you bring it to the account of the other side of the ball like you do, it kind of brings me back to agree with you. But I really call to say that and agree. So I got no choice but to agree with you. But this what my belief on MJ was so much in the 90 players taking the disrespect, but it just from my opinion, the facts or from my eye test, it's just my opinion basically. That MJ was so much ahead of everybody that he never faced, in my opinion, a guy with the Kobe talent, the Bron talent, with the work ethic that they got from Jordan to work on his game. Because everybody said it, that Jordan worked on his game and studied film and did all of that with the talent that he had at the time. They said, so in my opinion, Jordan is the blueprint. He was the first one where you say, I got all this great talent and I'm gonna work on it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I believe separate Kobe from Jordan is they tricked Kobe. Now me, I wasn't a Kobe fan in '01. This is how I'm gonna tell you. You know, I ain't got no bias because my favorite player was Allen Iverson. So I was always under the pressure watching that game, watching it because I watched number basketball as a kid, you know. And I said, man, they just won because of Shaq. I was really under the impression because you know you was a fan. You've been a fan of. You was a Kobe fan. So I was under the impression that AI and Kobe was real close together as just an overall basketball player. And I didn't like Kobe. I said, man, if he didn't have Shaq, we would have killed him. But me, being a student of the game like I always was, the more I got to high school, because this had to be like elementary, junior high, right? I got to high school, and I used to go back and watch the game and realize Kobe wasn't I wouldn't say he better than Shaq, because Shaq, there was two different positions. Shaq was the most dominant.
He was
But
he
if
was
you
he
go
was
back and
he was
look at the
he was
games,
better than Shaq.
Kobe was right. See, that you was a Kobe man, though. But if you go back and look at the games, I'll give you this. You can't say, that's why I really I kind of like to take the sidekick role off of Kobe. Because I don't think they win without Bean. Because you go back and look at it in high school, I stopped saying, hey, y'all still my favorite player, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I stopped saying that him and Kobe was real close as the overall basketball player. I had the, at some point, the analogy and logic got to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
So they trick Kobe into believing that he had to get rid of Shaq for his stuff to count for him to be the man. If they don't trick Kobe into that, they might lose in Detroit when they had their battles. Kobe, cause I'm telling you, he thought he had to win by himself. Nobody won by himself. Jordan had it, the best team, the best GM at his time. If they didn't trick Kobe out his what they call trick out of position, I think Kobe had about 7, 8 rings, which we'll never know.
Yeah, we never
But if
know.
they
But I
didn't trick
mean,
him to believe it,
so you saying they
that
tricked him into believing what again?
he had to win by himself. That
Well,
he
I
had
mean,
to be the
well, no, but
absolute
well,
man.
what he did though. I mean, because if he stayed with Shaq and they get 7 rings, um, it's the same thing as Jordan and Pippen. Like Jordan was the number one, so those 6 rings that they got, Jordan gets more credit for it than Pippen do. Pippen gets more credit for it than the other role players, but the star and the co-star, they get credited for it, but the star is the one that gets the major credit for it. Pippen gets his co-star share of it. So Jordan was the Shaq and Kobe was the Pippen. So Kobe was like, well, I don't want to be viewed as a sidekick or as a Scottie Pippen because I know I'm not that. The only reason why I'm playing a Scottie Pippen role is because Shaq got here before me. I showed up as a 17-year-old. You get what I'm saying? So he was like, "Nah, I don't
Right.
want. I don't want to stay in the Scottie Pippen role. When I'm done playing, I want people to talk about me the same way they talk about the greats like Magic, Bird, and Mike." So he said, in order for me to do that, I got to leave Shaq. I got to separate from Shaq. So he did that. That's an honorable thing to do, to say, I know it's easy for me to keep getting rings with Shaq, but let me do it the hard way so I can show y'all I can do it.
I agree with that. What I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, what you appreciate, but the average fan, that's they gonna be their train of thought. What I'm telling you is, when you go back and watch it, 0-1, maybe 0-2, 0-1, I say, if you go back and watch that series in the playoffs from the finals, he was definitely playing a Robin kind of Scottie Pippen role. After that, that shit was
Not
that shit
really.
was
Hold
180,
on,
dog.
but not really though.
Yeah, I say that. That's just that.
He was looked at as a sidekick like a Scottie Pippen, but he wasn't playing the Scottie Pippen role. Scottie Pippen's role was, I'm going to play defense.
Dirty work.
I'm going to distribute the ball, but the person that was responsible for getting 30, 40, 50, whatever you needed points wise was Jordan. They never asked Pippen to go get 30, 40, or 50 in a playoff game. They never asked him to do that. Kobe did have to do that. Kobe did have to take over in the fourth quarter. Nobody asked Pippen to take over in the fourth. Everybody knew that was going to be Mike.
But see, you agree with me, man. You
Yeah.
agree with the
So
average fan don't
it's different. It's different what Kobe was doing, and we saw that. But the way people see it, just because Shaq was the number
right.
one, they see Kobe like they see Pippen. But Kobe was really doing Jordan stuff alongside Shaq. He was
Alongside Shaq.
yeah,
That's
because
why he was tricked.
in the fourth quarter, Shaq didn't even want the ball down the stretch. That was Kobe's time.
He couldn't shoot free throws.
That
That
was
was
Kobe's
Kobe.
time. Then Shaq wasn't playing 82 games a season. He would come in out of shape at the beginning of the season, and that was Kobe's time. Remember, at the beginning of the season, Kobe had a stretch of 35 plus point game.
30
What?
point
Yeah,
games. That's what
8 straight games, and then Shaq came back And Kobe said that Phil said, "Look, all right, man, you got to pull it back. The big dog's back."
He was strict, man. He
Ain't
was
nobody
strict
ever had to tell Pippen to pull it back so Jordan can take it. Jordan was the one that wasn't missing no games. Pippen was missing games. You get what I'm saying? Jordan was doing the Shaq and the Kobe himself, and Pippen was doing the Ron Harper for him.
Facts. He was strict, man. At least when he thought he could have won it by himself. Why everybody get on Bron? I appreciate Bron. When they had them, a few sparkle years before they got saw in that trade when Kobe had to threaten to leave. If you get Kobe, any couple players, one co-star, any in a good bench or any couple players, man. Man, what about man? Kobe was scoring fucking. I'm gonna go at my bad. Kobe scoring 60. Now we talking about scoring in basketball. When they trick Kobe at the Shaq level or whatever you say he had to do it, if you get them right away, get them somebody in there to fill them positions to win the games. It's a different conversation, man.
Correct.
It's a different conversation.
I agree.
But that's all I think. I think the Warriors the only team that had a chance to beat the Bulls just because Klay Thompson and Curry, all that shooting. It's hard to beat shooting. It would have been a prayer, but I don't know if they got enough, but they would have had a chance if they shot shooting. But
that's a fact.
Playing basketball one-on-one, Kobe and Shaq, shit, me.
There it
All
is.
right, man.
All right, bro.
It,
yeah, no doubt. Yep. All right, man. I can end the phone call, or I can end the stream now, or I can give it 5 or 10 more minutes if y'all want more phone calls. I want Tyson Thomas to call in. That seemed like it'd be a good conversation. You replace Grant with the defensive player of the year, Rodman. You do know that the defensive player of the year and Ben Wallace went to go play with LeBron in Cleveland, right? How did that turn out? You get the 6th man of the year. Tony Kukoc. I guess you talking about Tony Kukoc. Sure. You get the 6th man of the year. Got it. And you go get Harper, who was a 20-point scorer and an elite defender. Sure. He was a 20-point scorer in Cleveland, which is odd because I remember when Michael Jordan was, and you said Ron Harper was an elite defender. I remember when Michael Jordan was putting Cleveland out of the playoffs, and they had Ron Harper, and they had Gerald Wilkins, and they had Larry Nance, Hot Rod Williams, Mark Price, Craig Elo, Terrell Brandon. They had all these players. And I remember they told me that the Cavs was a trash squad, and he was playing plumbers against the Cavs. So it's funny how when Ron Harper is healthy and in his prime playing with Cleveland, Michael Jordan ain't have nobody that can guard him that match his athleticism. But when Ron Harper go play with Jordan, he's an elite defender with 2 knee braces on after all these knee surgeries, and you think he's still the same 20-point scorer. I think that's very funny. Right? But nonetheless, my whole point of even bringing up the players that's shuffling around Jordan is the fact that the only thing that didn't shuffle was his co-star and Scottie Pippen. So what I'm saying is you can change the role players around him, and it can be different guys. It can be Kukoc, it can be BJ, it can be Judd, it can be Caffey, it can be Rodman, it can be Horace, it can be Bill Wennington, it can be Longley, it can be Cartwright. All of these different things shuffling. He just said, let me keep Pippen, and we'll figure the rest out. You can shuffle all you want to shuffle around me. Don't shuffle Scottie Pippen. And my point of saying that is that these superstars today, you can't win a championship and show me that you can win with Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and Aaron Gordon. You got 3 guys. Jordan had 1 Scottie Pippen. You got 3 guys that you won a championship with. And your GM said, I'm going to pay Murray, I'm going to pay Porter, and I'm going to pay Gordon so you can keep the guys you won with. But to pay all of them, you're going to have to lose Bruce Brown and Caldwell Pope, a bench player and a number. What was Caldwell Pope? A number 5 option in their starting lineup. Jokic was 1. Murray was 2. Michael Porter Jr. was 3. Aaron Gordon was 4. Caldwell Pope was a number 5 option in their starting lineup, and Bruce Brown was a bench player. And you telling me your number 5 option and your role player coming off the bench is the reason why you can't compete when you got your number 2 option, your number 3, and your number 4 option. And I'm comparing it with Michael Jordan. All he had was Scottie Pippen, and everything else was changing. Why can't Denver still win when they got the best player in the world and all 3 of his top guys after him? That was my point, Tyson. And for some reason, you lack that understanding. I don't understand. Call, though. Call that number. I'll put it back on the screen. Call that number, Tyson. You can do it. Just call them up. Call that number. Caller, what's up?
What's going on, man?
Is this Tyson Thomas?
Nah, this Linton.
All right, what's up? What's your thoughts?
Man, I'm in the comments talking to T3 Thomas. Man, this man is talking out the side of his name. I had to call because I'm like, you know what? Look, I've been watching the Bulls since about 86. I'm 42. I've been a Bulls fan my whole life. Ain't shit you can tell me about the Bulls, bro. Ron Harper was not even half of the player he was when he played for the Cavs, bro.
That's true.
Come on, man.
That's true.
And goddamn Tony Kukoc didn't become a 6th man until they goddamn started the second 3-peat. Like, bruh, go to sleep, man. Yeah, it's too late for this bullshit. Ain't got time for it tonight.
Sometimes you gotta ignore those people, man, because they sometimes they're ignorant on purpose, right? You know, it's volunteer ignorance. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, for real. Like this man trying to irritate me on purpose. Like, man, I'm supposed to be asleep right now. Like,
facts, yeah.
But yeah, man. Hey, people create these narratives to support these players like Jokic and LeBron. I don't think anybody actually watches the skill that it takes to play the game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I watched Shaq tonight after they hurt John Morant in the game. Lou Dort ain't shit for that. But Shaq, his skill set, like just watching this man play the game slow down for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's different. He's totally different. Kawhi is the same thing. You can see it. They playing at a whole totally different pace than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's that's basketball right there. I can watch them play. Like, I was actually excited watching the damn game. I'm like, damn, they really balling tonight. And it was physical. This is basketball, bro. This pansy ass shit that they done created around LeBron and Steph to free up the players and shit like that.
That junk trash,
garbage,
man.
They need to retire this shit.
How you feel about Zubac locking Jokic up?
Man, that was beautiful basketball. And you call this man the best player in the league, and he getting washed by a dude who ain't even literally on his level, so they say. But Zubac been balling for the last 4 years, really.
Yeah,
you want to give him his credit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm finna lay back down, man. Go and continue stuff, bro. I appreciate you listening or taking my call.
No doubt, man. Thanks for the call.
So you know that.
No doubt.
Hey, for sure. Have a good night, brother.
All right, bro.
That'll be cool.
It don't be nobody that disagree with me brave enough. Hey, Cash. Dang, man, I really wish I would have listened to you, dog. I wish I would have listened to you, man, because I felt like what I was saying at the beginning of the show needed to be heard. And if I wasn't coming in through my mic, man, that's gonna suck, man. On the playback. You know what I mean? Dang. I wish I would have listened to you. Caller from Canada, what's up?
Hey, what's good? It's actually California.
Oh, okay. Oh, Ontario. Okay, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, no problem. It's Kelly.
All right, what's good, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? I gotta talk to you about Mr. Wardell Curry.
Okay, let's go.
So let me get your point straight. So you think KD saved their legacy, right? And let's say KD doesn't go in 2016-17 season, right? You think the Warriors don't get back there, right?
Not that year, no.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I could see why you would think that, but there's like no guarantees that they do or don't. And I guess I forgot what else I was gonna say, but you go ahead.
just basically, just first and foremost, OKC, KD. He was coming off an MVP. He had already won an MVP. He had already led OKC to the finals. He just ran into a juggernaut. First of all, he was only like 23 when he led him to the finals. And his co-star Westbrook and Harden was like 21, 22, whatever. They was young, right? And they face
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
D Wade with playoff experience, who played with Shaq and a whole bunch of freaking leaders. Gary Payton, Jay Will, Antoine Walker, Lonzo Mourning. Like he knew what it was about in the playoffs, and he had already made playoff runs. So you got that experience, and they're in their prime. They're not 23 and under. They're in their prime. Bosh and LeBron, right? So you get
Big facts.
so you face a super team, and their superstar players are in their prime, but you're before your prime, and your co-stars are before their prime, right? So he was there. He got washed just like LeBron got washed by San Antonio. Got it. Then he come of age. Then he wins MVP, and now he's on the top of the mountaintop, up there with LeBron James. Some say he was better than LeBron James. Some people say LeBron was the best, but they're 1-2 in the league, right? And they're on top of the 73 win Warriors team 3-1, right? Don't know what
Okay.
happened. Don't know what happened, but if he could have done three different things. He could have stayed in OKC and added another player because Golden State was subtracting. All right, man, we had Harrison Barnes. You was part of the core. They got rid of Harrison Barnes because they didn't want to play him. Without them adding Kevin Durant, I don't know who else they add that summer to help them out. So they probably would just had subtracted Harrison Barnes and threw Iguodala in the starting lineup. Right, that's probably how they would have moved forward.
Okay, okay.
Right, but then you got OKC. They could have added somebody and then ran it back. I don't think the Warriors get past OKC that next year if he stay there. All right, so that's number one. Number two, he could have went to two different teams. He could have went to San Antonio. He could have went to the Houston Rockets to play with Harden again. I think both of those was options. In either event, the Warriors don't get out of the West. Right, the Warriors not getting out of the West that next year. They're done, and then they break that core up. That's what would have happened. So yes, I believe that, and the Warriors believe that too, because Draymond Green and Bob Myers both said without Kevin Durant joining them, they don't get back to the finals, and if they do get back to the finals, they can't beat the Cavs at full strength.
Let's see. They went seven the previous year, so I really can't agree with that. I do like Bob Myers'
Hold on.
opinion.
You said they won 70. They won 73 games the previous year.
No, I said they went to seven games with the Cavs last year, so I can't say that they can't beat the Cavs without KD because they took them seven, right? So
How
you
they how,
can't
how did
beat.
they get out the West though?
Oh no, I'm just talking about what you said about
If they
them
made it back,
beating.
no. So hold on. So if you okay, all right, you can say that. You can say that they could beat the Cavs in another series. That's fine. But I
No,
don't think
I'm just saying because
I just don't
you
think they
jumped to
make
it.
it back there. I don't think they make it back there. I mean, that same team that broke the record and run 73 games. Do you know how many games they lost in the playoffs?
They lost in the playoffs that year. Let's see, they lost three to OKC. Shit, I don't know.
How many games did they lose in the regular season that year?
Talk about the 73 and 19.
Right.
Yeah, so 9 in the regular season.
They lost either 9 or 10 in the playoffs. They lost the same amount, or if not one more in the playoffs. They was getting whooped in the playoffs. They were predictable, and all you had to do.
Who did they play in the first 2 rounds?
Probably. Let me see. I know they played OKC in the second round, correct?
They played OKC in the conference finals.
Conference finals. Okay, so let
sure.
me see. It probably was the Clippers first round. Second round probably was. Man, that's interesting. Hold on, Warriors.
Well, I don't even think it was the Clippers either. Let me see. Let me think.
You said it was 2015, right?
The 15-16 season, 16 season. That's the 73 and 9 season.
They played.
Okay, as soon as you get there, we'll get back on track.
Yeah, I got it already. First round they played. Where is the Golden State Warriors at? They played Houston the first round.
Yeah, not a problem. Pretty sure it probably ended in 5, I think.
Yep, it was 4-1. And then in the second round they played Portland. That was 4-1.
Okay, so no problems there until they got to OKC, which is a good
a 7 game. So they lost 3 against OKC, 3 against Cleveland. That's 3, 6, 7, 8 games. They lost 8 in the playoffs.
Okay. So let me get back to another point you said. You said that if Golden State, for whatever reason, they don't get back to the finals in 2017 without KD, you think they break it up. And I'll tell you that the Spurs didn't win it. Didn't win it every year, and even got bounced in the first round by an 8 seed, and they still kept their core together. So why would the Warriors not keep their core together? You go ahead.
Because Clay and Draymond was asking for max contracts. They was asking for max contracts.
And you think they both can't have max contracts? Is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to lose some players. And as a matter of fact, I don't think they keep them together and give them those max contracts if they don't win after that first ring they won.
Okay. I'll say this much though, my man. I think you a little hard on Curry. I'll give you that. But at the same time, we gotta keep it. I see why you get on him, because LeBron took the coward's way out by recruiting all-stars, and I guess you could say the Curry Warriors recruited KD. So yeah, that's a weak move. Let's keep it consistent, right?
Mm-hmm. You gotta call a spade a spade. And look, I'm not hard on Curry. Exactly. I'm fair. I'm not saying nothing about Curry that I'm not saying about everyone else who did the same thing. Kevin Durant was weak for going to Golden State, and everybody and Steph Curry was weak for allowing Kevin Durant to come over there. LeBron was weak for going to Miami, joining the super team. He was weak for team hopping from team to team every time the salary cap got too much, and he could just dump it and leave and go to another team and start over. That was weak. D Wade was weak for doing a super team. All of that stuff was weak. I ain't even gonna say that. I ain't even gonna use the word weak. All of it needs to be called out, right? So I'm not saying nothing about Curry that I'm not saying about KD, Wade, and Bosh and LeBron James. I'm saying the same thing about all of them, right? I'm not saying anything about Jokic that I don't say about everybody. If anybody was on the court getting praised as the best player, but they played zero defense, I'm going to call it out. My biggest pet peeve in basketball is false narratives, overhypeness, overrating players, feeding me pork chop and telling me I'm eating chicken. I hate that stuff. I hate when you tell me this guy's the best and he's not the best. I hate when you tell me because these stats are great, that makes him the best. That doesn't make him the best. That make him a stat stuffer. And that's not the best basketball you can play. Because the guys that I know that wins 5, 6, 7, 8 rings are not trying to stuff the stat sheets. The guy that's stuffing the stat sheets have to have a super team to win. And that's the LeBrons, and that's the Westbrooks when he was stuffing the stat sheet in the OKC, Harden when he stuffed the stat sheet in Houston. They're doing the same thing. Jokic, Luka. It's hard to win that way. But when you got guys playing the game the right way, SGA, Tatum, Kyrie, when they're playing the right way, it looks different, and it's not stuff in the stat sheet. It's just defense and scoring. I score, I defend. Those are the two most important things in basketball, score and defend. How can the best player be not defending, but scoring and assisting, and we're praising them? How can Steph Curry be praised where he had to rely on Draymond Green to lead the locker room?
Interesting point. That's a matter of leadership styles, or I guess for Curry's case, in a sense,
But when we judge players, there has to be a standard. So you get me the highest graded standard that we have, and then you grade everybody based on that. It seems unfair, but it's not. Who is the highest level of player that we've ever had? The highest grade. That's the standard, right? That's the standard. So yeah. Michael Jordan is the highest graded standard that we have. He didn't have a weakness in his leadership. He didn't have a weakness in his defense. He didn't have a weakness in his offense. He didn't have a weakness in his. He didn't have a weakness in his working out. He didn't have a weakness in his killer instinct. He didn't have a weakness in his clutchness. He just had very few weaknesses. That's the highest standard that we have, right? And if you want to split it up, and he didn't have a weakness in his resume either. So if you want to split it up and say Jordan would be the standard for wing players, and somebody like Hakeem or Kareem would be the standard for big men, or Duncan would be the standard for big men, and we start grading off that. So what did those guys do? Kareem, Hakeem, great defenders. Tim Duncan, great defender. Kobe, Mike, great defender.
Yep.
Great winners. Great
throw
people.
My man KG in there, even though he didn't win as much.
Right. He wouldn't be a standard to me because I would be grading him to the standard of Kareem, Hakeem, and Duncan. Right. But that's how you grade people. So when I grab the great player of today, and let's take the wing player, let's say SGA, stack them up against Kobe and Mike and grade them. Does he check off all the boxes that Mike and Kobe checked off? And then you grab the post player, the greatest one, Embiid and Jokic, and you grade them to the standard of Tim Duncan, Kareem, Hakeem. How many boxes do they check off? Well, I can tell you right now, Jokic don't check off the defense box.
That's true. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, defense, we gotta take into consideration both sides, because Curry is, I think, one of the best offensive talents we've ever seen. But yeah, he's lacking on defense, and that's the 50% of the game, right?
50% of it. I can take SGA and Kawhi Leonard and put them right in that category and grade them against Kobe and Mike, and they'll grade out pretty high and pretty well. But I'm taking 50% from Jokic. So he's not even a complete player. He's a half a player being praised as the best player in the game. Make that make sense. How's a half a player? And imagine if I walked up to you I came up to you with half of my body, the top half just gone. And I tell you I'm the best man on earth. You ain't even a whole man. How can you be the best player on earth and you're a half player?
That's true. Let me get you on one last point.
Okay.
So you said Jokic, it's a problem that Jokic is passing the ball when he's a center on his team and the point guard is not. And then you said actually no, you didn't say. But what's wrong with that? Because there is no Rondo CP3 level passer on the for a guard on the Nuggets, and Jokic has a very high basketball IQ. So I really don't mind him passing the ball to his teammates, and I really don't think he's a stat stuffer like that. And keep in mind, I got SGA as my MVP. But go ahead and answer that.
I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with it. First and foremost, Jamal Murray is that good of a passer, right? But second of all, you don't need a Rondo, Stockton, or CP3 level point guard for your center not to be your point guard, right? All you need is an offense. Like if you look at the San Antonio, I want to, like I said, let's grade him off a standard. A post player who was phenomenal was Tim Duncan, right? Did he have a CP3 Rondo lever passer? I mean, Tony Parker was not a CP3
good.
He was pretty good, but so is so is Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray passed just as well as Tony Parker.
Oh, I don't know about that.
He does. He passed just as well as Tony Parker. Right, but this is the thing.
He's not a bad passer, but he's
exactly.
He's
and you don't need a perfect passer to run your point guard. I mean, Ron Harper wasn't John Stockton, and he ran point for the Bulls and the Lakers. Derek Fisher wasn't John Stockton. He ran point for the Lakers. John Paxson wasn't John Stockton. BJ Armstrong wasn't John Stockton. So all you need is a coach to install an offense. Like put it this way: if you seen Princeton and the Princeton offense in college, they didn't have super athletic guys or super good players. They had more assists. Because I was a Carolina Tar Heels fan. I never forget that year they played Princeton in like the first or second round of the tournament, and Princeton beat the brakes off of them running that Princeton offense, right? And when you seen all those ball movements and back cuts, they barely dribbled the ball. It was all ball movement without dribbling. It was so many screens set. So Greg Popovich ran an offense where you didn't have one guy that had to set up everyone for the offense. So Denver don't need a point guard to be John Stockton, and they don't need a center to be John Stockton, right? A center that's a dominant post player like Tim Duncan can still get between 5 and 6 assists just by passing out of the post when the double team comes. Just because you're a phenomenal passer doesn't mean you have to put it on display every single play or every single game. You don't have to run my offense like that. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like if I'm a great singer, if I'm a Mariah Carey and I'm really good at the really high notes, do you think it's a good idea for me to sing the entire song in that high note?
Probably not.
No, it don't make sense. You go into the well. It don't make sense. But just because Jokic is a great passer, let's just keep giving him the ball every single play so he can make great passes every play. No. What about the other 4 guys on the court? I want them to be dangerous as well. Like the other 4 guys need to be scared. Oh, shoot. Jamal Murray can make a play too. Or Michael Porter Jr. can make a play too. Michael Porter Jr. is not even allowed to make a play. He's only allowed to catch and shoot like he's Kyle Korver or something.
That's true.
Why would you pay Kyle Korver that much money? Just go get Kyle Korver. Well, he's retired, but you get my point. Why give Michael Porter Jr. a max contract? The type of money that you would give Kawhi, Paul George, these guys that has been number ones for their team before. You gave Michael Porter Jr. number 1 money to catch and shoot.
All right.
You gave Michael Porter. You gave a 6'11" athletic scoring juggernaut number 1 money to be a catch and shoot 3-point player. And then you gave Jamal Murray, who is an all-star level point guard, number 1 money to watch his center play point guard. So that's the problem, right? And then you don't understand how that plays into everyone's psyche. because now it don't matter how well wishing I am and how good we are as teammates, as a human being, I can't turn on ESPN but so many times and hear Jokic is the only reason why they making shots. Like, he's spoon feeding them. They're not good. They've never made an all-star. Jokic is doing everything for them. He's the triple-double god. And the whole time you sitting in the film room and the coach is scheming up ways that y'all can help him on defense because he's a cone. So you know the truth, but here it is, MVP after MVP, and all we hear is how horrible we are. That's all his fans say. Jamal Murray's trash, Michael Porter Jr. is trash, and you know that the coach is saying, if Jokic pass it to you, I don't care where you at, you need to shoot it. That's the offense. As soon as Jokic pass it to you, put the shot up. And that's how they coach too. Carmelo Anthony let you in on that when he went to go play in D'Antoni's system and Daryl Morey's system over there in Houston, and they told him that you can't shoot nothing but threes. And then they told him that, okay, since you like mid-range so much, we'll give you 3 a game. You can only shoot 3 mid-ranges a game. And they actually was counting. He'll shoot a hit a mid-range in the game, and assistant coach will tell him that's 1.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
This is how they're coaching now. So what you think they're telling these guys when they're playing with Jokic? Hey, look, man, we selling a lot of tickets with this marketing that Jokic is the best player in the world and he's unstoppable and he's a triple-double god. And like, you know, he done almost average a triple-double 3-4 years in a row and he never could get quite to it. You don't think Denver and Jokic wanted to finally get that triple-double average this year? It was an assertive effort. This dude started running point this year. Every now and then he'll bring the ball up court last year and the previous years, but this year he actually really started running the point guard. What do you think?
Really believe?
What do you think that does to Jamal Murray's psyche? You've been a point guard since 5th grade. No, picture this. You've been a point guard since forever. I played point guard my whole life just to get to the league, and a 7-footer takes the point from you. Let that stuff sink in. And then you say you don't have enough help. How can I help you if you're doing everything? You ever live with a person that complains about not getting help, but they try to do everything?
Yeah.
You ever seen it? I need help, but they take pride in doing it all themselves. Like, well, how can I help you? You doing it? You doing everything? Like, how am I supposed to help you? You're doing everything, and you only complain about help when you get frustrated. Like, I don't feel like a person or a whole person. It makes me feel good when I'm doing everything. But when everything starts to go downhill, then I start complaining that I'm not getting enough help. I've seen people like that before. That's what's going on in Denver. And it got his coach fired because Mike Malone was all on Jokic's side. People get tired of that. And it's not just Jamal Murray. They got Westbrook, who's another point guard. So you got Calvin Booth that was probably thinking like, man, we're doing too much Jokic ball out here. I got a 7-footer running the point. But look, if y'all keep saying Jamal Murray can't, because I remember they said the same thing about Luka. I said, why are y'all letting Luka do all of this point guard stuff when he's your primary scorer? And you got a point guard in Jalen Brunson on your team. Let him run point. And the entire Dallas Mavericks fan base said, Jalen Brunson can't run point. He can't handle the ball. And he made All-Star in New York the first year he got there, doing exactly what they said he couldn't do. And now everyone's saying the same thing about Jamal Murray. He can't run point. And that's the only reason why Jokic is doing anything, because Jamal Murray can't pass. It's not true. It looked like he can't pass because it's not his role to do it. Only Jokic is doing it. But I guarantee you, if Jamal Murray would have went to New York instead of Brunson, he would have been doing the same thing, but probably more, because I think he's better than Brunson. Right. So that's one thing. But Calvin Booth, the GM, was like, okay, y'all don't want Murray to run the point because y'all saying he's not equivalent. Let me go get a Hall of Famer that run point who also averaged triple doubles or who can pass his butt off. Let me go get him. And they went and got him, and what they do to him? Oh, you go play small forward like Bruce Brown.
I don't know if Westbrook's the best example though. It
don't matter. It don't matter who you bring to Denver. they're never going to change the Jokic is the point guard. They're never going to change. You can go get John Stockton out of retirement, and they're going to make him shoot threes. He's not going to run point. No one's going to run point. So you can't say that they're doing it out of necessity because they don't have a point guard. They're doing it because they want Jokic to do it, and they want Jokic to get those numbers. And it's not good. It's not conducive to winning. And they only can get one. They could get to the finals probably 3-4 times in a row if they played like San Antonio, which is insane to me because Mike Malone is coming from the coaching tree of Popovich. So I'm baffled that he came over there and was like, yeah, we just go let our Tim Duncan run point. Imagine if Popovich let Tim Duncan run point.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm.
And then what Tony Parker go do? And what Ginobili go do? Ginobili would be shooting threes like Michael Porter Jr., catch and shoot. We would have never seen a Euro step. When the last time you seen Michael Porter drive all the way to the basket and make a move at the rim?
It doesn't happen often.
It don't happen often. Why you think that is? Because they're telling him to shoot threes. They're telling him to shoot threes. I ain't seen Westbrook shoot this many threes before in my life. That's their offense. They're telling them to shoot threes, and they want Jokic to get those assists. So you can't ask those guys to do. Yeah. So imagine if Ginobili we'd never seen a Euro step because he's shooting threes all the time. We never get to see how special he is going to the rim. Tony Parker for like 3-4 years in a row was top 3 in scoring points in the paint as a point guard. So it was like Shaq, probably another big man, Garnett, and then Tony Parker. He was up there in the top 3 with big man with points in the paint. Tony Parker lived in the paint. If Tony Parker played with Jokic, he would be shooting threes like Jamal Murray. If Ginobili played with Jokic, he would be shooting threes like Michael Porter Jr. If Kawhi played with Jokic, he would just be playing defense and shooting threes like Aaron Gordon and catching lobs like Aaron Gordon. That's their offense. You could take all of Tim Duncan's role players and co-stars and swap them with the co-stars of Denver, and it would be the same thing. Ginobili will be a 3-point shooter. Tony Parker will be a 3-point shooter. Jokic would run point. Aaron Gordon, Kawhi Leonard would do everything Aaron Gordon is doing, and Tiago Splinter would be on the bench like DeAndre Jordan.
Mm-hmm. My man Mel, do you really believe the Nuggets and Jokic were purposely chasing these assist numbers or triple-double numbers? Do you really believe that?
Yes. How many times have you heard in the last 3 years? How many times have you heard Mike Malone talk about the MVP at a press conference? His last press conference before he got fired, he said, "If Jokic don't win MVP, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. If y'all don't think Jokic is the MVP, y'all crazy."
He's just sticking up for his guy because he knows.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what other MVP candidate coach have spoke at the press conference about their player winning MVP this year? Did you hear SGA's coach talk about MVP?
No, he didn't say anything about that.
Did you hear Doc Rivers talk about Giannis in MVP? Nope.
He might have.
No, never heard it. Did you hear Mazzulla talk about Tatum in MVP?
Nope.
Did you hear Kenny Atkinson, the coach of the year, talk about Donovan Mitchell for MVP?
Probably not.
No. It's only Jokic and Luka's coaches talking about awards. Jason Kidd was talking about it, and Mike Malone was talking about it.
I'm gonna disagree with you there that he's chasing numbers. Like, I get what you're saying about his coaches and and then the assist numbers. I just don't. I don't.
The proof is in the pudding. Y'all falling for the Hollywood acting. Like somebody told me the other day, man, Jokic don't even care about basketball. He just care about his horses. You fell for that bullshit. That is marketing. You think Jokic don't care about basketball? You see him mad when they losing? You
no,
think
he cares about basketball. I think
exactly? You think he don't get in the gym and practice? You really think he just out there raw dogging it and he ain't practicing? If you're practicing more than everybody else to get good, as good as Jokic is, you care. People really think that people really buy that nonsense. Oh yeah, Jokic don't even care about basketball. He don't even care about these stats and MVPs. Then why the hell does he keep playing triple double basketball when it ain't winning? Why? Listen, if what you're doing is not working, why you keep doing it?
It sounds like they needed a coaching change. Like they needed a whole different coaching philosophy, and I guess we got that now.
They doing, yeah.
Only time will tell.
But hey, Tyson Thomas, the reason why I can argue about the offense being the number 1 offense in the league is because it's taken away from their defense, and they're being the number 25th defense in the league.
Okay, my man. So what happened?
Tell your best player on the team to worry about defense before he worried about assists. Let somebody else take that job for assists, and you concentrate on defense. Because everybody I know that played triple-double basketball used that as an excuse to rest on defense. Luka Doncic, well, I mean, you can't ask him to play defense. He's doing everything on offense. James Harden, you can't ask him to play defense. He's doing everything on offense. Russell Westbrook, you can't ask him to play defense. He's doing everything on offense. LeBron James and Jokic, you can't ask him to play defense because he's doing everything on offense. Name a guy who's playing triple-double style basketball that also plays Kawhi level, SGA level, Embiid level, Tatum level defense, Jaylen Brown level defense. The only guys who are playing top defense are the ones who concentrate on scoring, and that's it. Scoring and defending. But if you're out there trying to score and assist, that is 2 jobs in one. That should be 2 separate people. Magic, Kareem. Magic, Worthy. Jordan, Pippen. Stockton, Malone. Parker, Duncan. The teams that are winning 3, 4, and 5 rings don't have one guy doing all of those roles on offense and then resting on defense. So I can care less about a number 1 rated offense when your defense is 25th. It's a synergy. It's a synergy. Everyone knows that if you play with a big, everybody who played point guard that played with a big man knows if your big man play great defense or get a rebound and he hustle, because it's easier for a small guy like me to hustle up court with the ball. But if my big man run that floor and my selfish butt go down there and go coast to coast and score and don't reward that big man for just running up the floor, because we don't get those sprints from big men that often. You got to coach a big man to continue to sprint up and down the court like that, so you don't waste it. If your big man is unselfish enough to use his body and sprint up court, you better look for him and give him an opportunity to get that point. Give the ball up. Every coach knows that. It's synergy, because what's going to happen if you let that big man run up court and he don't get the ball? All of a sudden, he don't want to play defense no more. It's a synergy. So if you're the best player on the team, and you're the only one authorized to rest on defense, and all the other 4 guys have to do extra work to cover your deficiency on defense or your lack or your laziness on defense, how does that synergy work? You think those guys are thinking about running through a wall for that guy? I don't care what their mouth say, but deep down inside, do you think they want to run through a wall for that guy? So yeah, you 25th in defense, and you think, come on, you think they don't do nothing to a human being? I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead, man. What's your last thought?
No, you're good. You make some good points, to be honest. Like I see, these are some well articulated arguments. I may not agree with the conclusion completely, but you do make some good points, and I can appreciate that. But I also want to get your thoughts on the 2023 Nuggets. So like, what do you think about that team then? If it's not conducive to winning basketball, what do you think about that, their championship run?
I think it was magical. I think Jokic, because I talked about Jokic all season about not defending, and when Jokic got in the playoffs, he took his offense to another. He's not doing it this year, but in 2023, every series was unreal. Even when they played the Lakers, I mean, Jokic was hitting. I mean, he hit a one-legged fadeaway three from the top of the key with the shot clock falling down and a clutch. And I think they might have been down one. They needed that bucket. Like, it was nothing the Lakers could do. Every time the Lakers made a run, Jokic would score on them and one, hit a three. Like, he was all over. And then on defense, they couldn't take advantage of him. He was defending his butt off. So I would make video. I was making videos in 2023 during the season because that was the year I think I was making the argument for Embiid for MVP because Embiid played defense and Jokic didn't. So I was all on Jokic's case that whole season. And when the playoffs started, Jokic was the best player in the world. That playoff run from first round all the way to the finals was unreal. And then the team was playing all connected. The defense was there. Aaron Gordon, I think Aaron Gordon guarded the best player in every series from first round to finals. He guarded Butler in the finals. He guarded LeBron in the conference finals. He guarded KD in the second round, and he guarded Anthony Edwards in the first round, or whoever. I don't know who they had in the first round.
Yeah, it was the Wolves.
It was Wolves. So Aaron Gordon, I mean, the job he did on KD was crazy. And then he turned around and he did it again on LeBron, and then did it on Butler in the final. Like, Jamal Murray, clutch all through the playoffs.
Don't forget AG Gordon was switched on to AD at times too.
Correct. And then when they come off the bench with Bruce Brown, he couldn't miss. So that whole season was just magical. But like I was saying earlier, everyone, you ever seen a football team? All right, let's put it this way. Jimmy Johnson definitely was the engine behind the Dallas Cowboys football team. They won, 3 straight. And then he had an issue with Jerry Jones, and he quit or got fired, and they brought in Barry Switzer, right? The momentum when you get a new coach can carry you, and you can get you. They got a ring with Barry Switzer, but they never went back to the final to the Super Bowl after that. So the momentum kept that. You got enough wind in your sail to carry you one time. Another example, John Gruden, when he came in after Tampa Bay got rid of Tony Dungy, they had enough wind in their sail to get them one ring, and then the bottom fell out. Right. So so Denver getting enough wind in their sail to get that one run out of the way was special. But can you be like Michael Jordan and do it again the next year, and then do it again the next year for a three-peat, and then do 2 3-peats? Right? That's special. Can you be special back to back to back? Or can you just be special once because it took so much out of you? You're not insane enough like a Michael Jordan or a Kobe to go back in that space that you got to go in to do it again. Right? Can you are you a one-hit wonder, or can you come out with hits after hits after hits like Kanye, Michael Jackson? Like, you know how special you got to be to do it back to back to back. How do you keep getting these number ones? How do you keep getting back to the finals? That separates a great player from the greatest player. Jokic is a great player. He can only do it once. Giannis is a great player. He can only do it once.
Yeah, it's true.
Tim Duncan did it multiple times.
3 and 5 years. Yep.
You get what I'm saying? That's the difference. That's the difference. Did Tim Duncan stuff the stat sheet? Tim Duncan averaged 19 points for a career. And he's a much better scorer than 19 points. He could have averaged 28 for a career. But is he trying to stuff the stat sheets? No. He'll rather play defense. Tim Duncan had to guard Shaq and Kevin Garnett and Rasheed and Weber.
And Amari. And Dirk. Can't forget about Dirk.
And Bosh. And Dirk. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
He had to guard them and Karl Malone as a youngster.
Yeah.
He had to guard those guys.
You gave I'm glad you gave Jokic some credit there because yeah, go back to that Heat series in the finals. He was moving his feet real well. He blocked Bam Adebayo's shots a few
Bro,
times. He was playing good. Yeah, I'm glad you gave him
I had
some
I
credit.
had I had
Give him
no
credit too.
I had no complaints about Jokic's defense. The only complaint I had during that finals run was they made him untouchable. You couldn't touch him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the year before that, when they got put out by the Warriors, Draymond Green guarded Jokic in the post, and they let Draymond Green absolutely destroy Jokic. I ain't seen nobody that physical in a while in this era. And they
You talking
allowed
about the officials letting stuff go? Is that what you're talking about?
the officials was letting it go when the Warriors won it. They played Jokic in the first round, and
Yeah, I remember that.
and
Yeah.
Draymond Green. I think they swept him or either forewarned him. Gentlemen swept, right?
Yeah, because no Murray was there. Yeah.
Draymond Green embarrassed Jokic, but the referees let him do it. The very next year, Jokic was untouchable. So the difference between Jokic being the best and being just another guy is how physical the refs allow you to get to him. And what we're seeing right now with Steph Curry, the difference between him being unstoppable and being just very good is how physical you allow the refs allow you to get with him. So right now we're seeing Zubac play Jokic straight up. He not going against the rules to guard him. It's just straight up defense, and Jokic looks like just a good player. But he was untouchable in his run. But I got to give him credit for his defense. I got to give him credit for his defense because he went to another level and played the best defense I ever seen him play. He hasn't done it again since. Want to know why? Want to know why?
Why do you say that?
If you already tell if you tell somebody they're the best player in the world and you ain't playing defense, why the hell would you start playing defense? If you're already getting all the credit for being the best, what would make you say, well, you know what, let me play lockdown defense? No, because your coach and your team has already said we already excusing you for not. Okay, you're not a good defender. That's fine. We'll make up for it. Luka, you're not a good defender. Okay, he's never going to get there. Like we've already conceded. Okay, they're never going to be. I don't know how we conceded that, but in the media, okay. So what? No, who else plays defense in this era? This is not a defensive era. It's okay. I heard Darren Patrick say, "Why are we giving SGA the MVP because of defense? Nobody plays defense in this era, so it's okay. So defense should be part of the criteria. Let's just talk about the stats." He's averaging a triple double for people. He's top 3 and 4 statistical categories. Don't worry about the defense because nobody plays defense. Larry Bird wasn't a good defender. He lied. Larry Bird almost got Defensive Player of the Year one year. He said Larry Bird was a bad defender. Magic was a bad defender. So why are we going to punish Jokic for not being a good defender? That's Dan Patrick said that out of his mouth. And lied on Larry Bird and Magic and tried to make it seem like they were liabilities on defense. That's a fat Faison lie. Can't believe he said that.
Yeah, that's bad from the Dan Patrick too. That's bad.
I did a show on it. Go find it on the channel. I did a show on it. It's on there.
Yeah.
I talked about it. He said he that was horrible. But the media and the coaching staff. I remember when Luka was getting torched by Boston in the finals, and Jason Kidd had to talk at the podium after the game, and it was asking him about Jokic and his defense, and he said, "No, it's on us. We have to protect Luka. We got to protect Luka more." What? You can't. So your best player can't hold his own on defense. You have to scheme protection. Like imagine a team that's looking at film and looking at the opposing team's best player, and it got to come up with a way to stop that best player, right? That's good. Now imagine a head coach watching film and saying, before we think about how to stop this best player, we have to scheme on how to protect our worst defender. You know, those are two different objectives, right? Like if I'm concentrating on stopping the best player, I'm already expecting that all 5 guys on the court can at least stay in front of their man, right? But when you're game planning on defense and you know there's one guy on your defense that all 5 guys on the floor can blow by with 2 dribbles, and you know that the offense is going to attack that bad defender when they get the ball, they're going to set a screen with the man that he's guarding so they can get a switch so they can take advantage of him. You know that's the game plan. So you, instead of you thinking about how to stop SGA or Anthony Edwards or Kevin Durant, you're thinking about what are we going to do when they start hunting for Luka? You can't even game plan around the best player. You're game planning around how to hide Luka on defense.
Yep.
But I rest my case.
Oh, okay.
I rest my case. Any more questions? Because I'm over here preaching.
No, I was wondering if you were done yet, but no, it all makes sense. Yeah, you're game planning to try and hide your quote unquote best player on defense when that's a whole knock right there. That's just laughable. You mean you can't guard one of the 5 guys on the opposing team? Like, defense is 50% of the game, and you got to take responsibility for your matchup. At least you used to back then without all the switches. And if you can't even play some defense, on, let's say it was Al Horford or even Drew Holiday, who was like, probably their weakest links, quote unquote weakest links, then like, what are we doing? What are we doing, right?
Absolutely, man. All right, man. Thanks for the call, man. I'm gonna take one more and then I'm gonna end the show.
All right, thanks for taking my call, man. Good chopping it up with you.
No doubt.